Hey, everyone. Okay, this is the weekly VOLTHA TST meetings. And I'm sure everybody's interested in the release this morning. I've got some updates on that. Before we jump into that, does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up?
I don't have anything.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I was working on the release this weekend. On Saturday and Sunday, we've got quite a bit done. All of the ONOS components have been upgraded, they've been rebuilt, and they've been built in version order. So, we don't have like dependencies on old component versions, things like that. That's all good. So on Sunday, I started kicking off a bunch of the dependent versions. We had to get all of the ONOS pieces versioned and built properly, and then we can start building the VOLTHA components or the project pieces, like VOLTHA Protos and the VOLTHA LibGo and VOLTHA Go, and basically build up the food chain. What I started finding on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, the EC2 nodes that we're currently building on began recording a bunch of SSH service had responded. This is in the heartbeat logs. But we'd get a message afterward that we're going to waiting for a bit of time for the service to stabilize, and the nodes never seem to come back. The jobs are still in the queue, waiting for a worker node to be allocated to them. Seems like the SSH service had started up okay, and we probably registered the security keys for Jenkins to interact with the EC2 node, but control does not seem to be handed off to the job waiting to do work. So we had a bunch of jobs in the queue. Some of them were the release jobs. As of was Friday morning, I think there were 72 jobs in the queue. I've since gone through and taken the periodic jobs and the 2.8 jobs out, and there were still better than 40 jobs in the queue. Checking between Monday and today, it doesn't look like many jobs have processed, so we appear to be blocked on the node allocation for some reason. So this morning I went in and cleared out the backlog of jobs, basically to get back to a clean state so we can do debugging. I've been seeing the same waiting for service to respond when the VOLTHA Proto job was running this morning. I ended up restarting that one manually. Eventually the node came to life and the job is running right now. So I may have to babysit some of these release jobs to get them through the queue. But today I'm going to go through and see if I can find out what's going on with this. On the Jenkins server side, the logs seem to be clean for the most part. We go through and do a slave node allocation. That's what we'll eventually be doing work on. We do get the final entries that are logged do say that the remote access has been allocated, but I'm having a tough time finding any status updates between that and when we should actually be launching the job. But that's all pretty much in here. I did find one job. This was interesting. One of the periodic jobs this morning was blocked for about 4 hours, waiting for a node to be allocated. After I cleaned out the backlog that was in the queue, that job seemed to come into the running state and was able to do work afterwards. So I don't really know what to make of that. So right now, the release matrix page, we have 2 pages. Release matrix is the original one that I started working on.
Joey, sorry.
Yes.
Yep. I disabled yesterday a lot of jobs. Maybe you saw it in Slack. I wrote it. And today morning, our time, I saw there were no pending jobs, and I enabled the jobs again and tried to start one job manually, and saw that the node, so the Ubuntu node was not able, all the nodes were offline.
Correct. That's exactly the behavior I've been seeing.
Yeah, that's the behavior I saw yesterday. I saw that some jobs pending for more than 20 hours.
Yes, exactly.
So my question is now, should it be better than we disable again the jobs that we can wait if it is stabilized? I saw you aborted the jobs, the running jobs.
Correct. I'd say leave the jobs enabled for right now. Oh, looks like my screen froze, or my video froze again. I'd say leave the jobs enabled for right now. I'm going to be babysitting the queue to try and help jobs along manually, try and trigger nodes and things like that to run. I'm going to be doing some research today to try and figure out what is going on with the EC2 nodes and why they're getting into this wedge state. Before we take any remedial action, let me do some of the debugging to try and figure out what's going on. So we won't have to go back and re-enable everything in case it's a simple problem to fix. But you're absolutely right. Where I was seeing if people haven't seen this, where the behavior was showing up, if you come into the open chord page and scroll down in the left-hand panel, where was it? Sometimes you'll see some jobs running, which is good. It seems to be dependent on which EC2 node they're working on. Build queue is where the 40 to 70 jobs had backed up and where you'd see the 24 plus hour run times. I think it was in cloud statistics, you'll see an EC2 node being allocated. That's basically Jenkins is trying to set up a cloud node for jobs to process on. Under the cloud statistics, you'll see EC2 node either initializing or launching, and it pretty much does not move from that state. And while the nodes are in that state, it's pretty much Jenkins is still in control of the node. It's not officially allocated it for work to be done on it until the handoff from the allocation over to the jobs actually starting running. The jobs will sit in the queue blocked, which is exactly what you were seeing for the 24-hour period. But as I said, maybe hold off re-enabling jobs. If the periodic jobs kick off again and fill up the queue, I'll just go through and manually delete them. But we can leave everything as it is right now. And I'm just going to continue going through the manual builds to try and get the remaining release pieces out. And I know that's a lot. Does anybody have any more questions or comments or anything?
So shall I disable my jobs or shall I let them enabled?
Go ahead and leave them enabled. In fact, you can manually kick it off again. Since I know you're trying to run your job, okay. I won't bother that one. We'll just see if it's able to start up right now since I've been able to run one of the release jobs.
Okay, I let them enabled.
Okay. Yeah, there was a request to review the ONT alarms. Just that was still an open item. Did people have a chance to look through them, and did they have any through the code, and did they have any suggestions or anything for the code reviews?
Abhilash, you triggered again that this change has to be reviewed, but there was already some review. Do you expect that we get a new patch set incorporating the review commands?
Okay, I'll check the comments. I see only one comment that only once the protos are merged, the rest of the things will merge. The comments are in ONU adapter?
Actually, regarding the functionality, I don't see much problems there. But as I said, actually, the patches of OpenONU adapter and Vault control are actually not mergeable, because I think we have to have this order. We have first to merge the VOLTHA protos to be able to get these changes into the OpenONU adapter and also into the Volt control via the Go mod handling. So actually, my understanding was that first these VOLTHA proto should then be reviewed and merged, and then after the second step, these other patches should come. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I got that, but I was just checking if there is any review comments on the code itself, apart from the protos, the actual implementation in the ONU adapter. If that can be reviewed, yeah, probably now the protos anyway will not be merged until and unless the release has happened.
Yeah,
Until then,
exactly.
if we can go ahead with the reviews. So.
Exactly. Okay, then the next patch set I'm expecting is the VOLTHA protos, right? Which will be updated regarding version and so on.
Correct.
Okay, and then the other ones.
Yes.
Quick note.
Okay, I see.
Sorry. No. I was going to say, I'm currently building VOLTHA protos without this patch right now. If we do need to incorporate it for the release, just let me know.
No. That was Mahir excluded it explicitly, that we don't want to have this patch in the upcoming release. It is a post-release issue.
Okay, no worries. Sorry to interrupt. If you want to keep going, if you need to.
That was all.
Okay. So let me see. The next piece was Denise had a release blog written up for the upcoming release and was looking for feedback. I did notice one of the I don't know if it's been fixed yet. One of the CO demo links at the top were going to a page not found.
It was fixed.
Okay,
it may have been moved on their website, so I did revise it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Denise, if you'd like to talk about these items, feel free.
Sure. So if anyone else has feedback on for the blog, please advise. Obviously, we will not put the blog out until the release is finalized. Tentatively, we have scheduled the Techinar for January 31st. And thank you to Mahir and Joey who will present. Usually we like to allow about 2 weeks so that folks have an opportunity to sign up. So depending on when the release goes out, we may have to move that date out. But at this point, we've put a stake in the ground for January 31st to host the Techinar on the VOLTHA release. Any questions? Okay. So I will be adding obviously the link to the Zoom session at the end there, so people can register after we get the date and everything finalized.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's see. So the YouTube links for the past meetings have been updated from the last video. That's probably all I have for release at the moment. So we can open up the floor. If anybody has any questions, comments, or topics they want to bring up, feel free.
Marcos,
last time I had.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So last time I had published the error handling cases for VOLTHA. So not sure if everyone got a chance to look.
Sorry, I missed copying that.
Yeah, if everyone can go through it once and provide your comments, we can take it up a deep dive in the next session.
Perhaps it's better if you present or say what you intend to do generally. I've seen that there's a lot of go routine. You want to remove a lot of go routines, right? Because so the full the consistency is not guaranteed if it is running asynchronously, right?
Yes, correct. So I have mentioned where the issue is and when the issue would come, and also the possible solution for that.
Okay, in principle, I see this as a valid way, but perhaps it should be tested and also in load test, right? Because probably you slow the system down a little bit when you go from asynchronous to synchronous handling. But actually this should be tested, right?
Yes, it will slow down, but not to an extent wherein it will have a bigger impact. And also a few, even if we remove the go routines, it will not matter actually. Most of them are those, like even if we remove the go routines, it wouldn't matter. So for the ones which would have impact, I have already put a comment across there, like this needs to be tested. But considering there are a lot of changes would involve, so probably comments from or any different ideas would probably be appreciated. Because once we do the changes, that's quite a bit of work, and if there are comments on that, then we would have to revert back.
I think most of the changes will be done in OLT adapter, right?
I have here for I have here for core as well as OLT adapter, and also a follow-up will come on the ONU adapter as well. ONU adapter is still in progress.
Yeah, I see.
So it will come next week.
My question was nothing to do at the ONU adapter. Okay, there will something come. Okay, I see.
Yeah, it will come up in the next week or so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Oh, go ahead.
Marcos, regarding your errors you found regarding dying gasp alarm procedure, you have seen that Chip Bowling will care about this. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have seen, and I'd like to thank you for your quick response.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
The problem will be we are now depend on Chip when he's publishing a new OMSILib Go library. And once we have this, then we have to include it into the OpenONU adapter. But this will surely not be feasible before the release. But when we get this new library, then we can patch this or doing a patch, and then we can also put it into the new release. So it is not forgotten, but it will not be in the first release of 2.11.
Oh, I got it. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. One other minor item I'm going to be looking at while I'm going through the release jobs. Something interesting I've noticed this morning for some of the tests that are running, specifically for VOLTHA protos, we have to install, or we're currently installing, the Golang interpreter and the Python interpreter for the legacy prototypes. For some reason, when we're setting the nodes up, EC2 node gets spun up, and then we do provisioning, which is basically we go through and we start installing interpreters and whatever else we might need. I noticed the installations are taking upwards of 10 minutes per Python installation, which that seems like a really long time. I'm not sure why, it should take like 2-3 minutes maximum. but we seem to have an extended time. I don't know if it's from transferring a bunch of packages over, but at least a lot of the time spent in the prototype testing seems to be in setup right now. So not sure why that's happening, but that'll have to be looked into as well. Okay, so does anybody else have anything you'd like to bring up? And so, okay, so I guess that's probably a wrap for this week. And if anybody has any questions about the release stuff, I'm going to be trying to keep the matrix, the wiki pages up to date, so you should be able to look there for the latest, what's been fixed and what's broken, all that fun stuff. Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks, Joey.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.